the Hinsdale House in Hinsdale, New York. This is the location where an exorcism. The Dandy family moved in here, and shortly after, they started experiencing paranormal activity, specifically poltergeist activity. This activity started to increase, and then their daughter was eventually affected. They believed that she was actually possessed, then an exorcism shortly ensued. Sad enough, they were never able to help their daughter. She continued to have signs of being possessed. But the question is, whatever possessed her, is it still there? Is it still walking the halls of the Hinsdale House? We intend to find out this Friday, June 12th at 9 p.m.
Oh yeah, so we are live. I am here with the guy I went to Hinsdale House with, Matt. So what's up, Matt?
Oh, just trying to recollect everything and catch up on the sleep that we didn't get.
Right? Yeah, so this is Matt Warner with Warner Paranormal. You can follow him on like Facebook and YouTube and all over the place. But yeah, so we went to the Hinsdale House and investigated. It has some really cool stuff happen, so we wanted to get on here and kind of recap. But yeah, I slept a little bit more than Matt did. Matt, I think you got 3 hours of sleep or something?
About 2 hours and 45 minutes according to my Fitbit.
Nice. Yeah, I went to sleep a little bit earlier. I ended up getting kind of cold, man. I laid down on that sofa where that exorcism happened, and I passed right out. I don't know, but you guys had some cool stuff happen afterwards. But before we get to all that, man, I want to kind of explain how we got to where we are now. So maybe a week ago or so, I think I contacted you and asked you about going to Hinsdale, and yeah, so you basically said yeah, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I was happy that you reached out to me. I thought it'd be a cool opportunity for us to collaborate and do some fun shit together. And on top of that, it was excellent to not have to drive 8 hours alone too. That's the added bonus right there.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That was definitely a long drive, but it was a cool drive. It was really a pretty drive, man. It wasn't bad at all. The weather was great. It was awesome.
It was perfect road trip weather, that's for sure. We found some cool spots along the way to stop, in the middle of the 14 hours of farm country we had to see.
We did indeed. Absolutely, man. So anyway, the first place that we met up was the Conjuring House. So you drove from your house to the Conjuring House, picked me up, checked that place out real fast, talked to Corey, and then hopped in your truck and headed to Western New York, man. That was pretty cool. I had never been to the Hinsdale House, and that was your first time too, right?
It was, yeah. Yep, my first time. It was extremely memorable. It couldn't have gone any better for a first-time experience at a haunted location, in my opinion.
Yeah. So we were on our way to the Hinsdale House, and then we decided to take a pit stop at the Wildwood Sanitarium. That was really cool, man. I didn't really expect to go there for sure. So we did a tour there, and what did you think of that place, Matt?
I mean, as you and I both discussed, there's definitely energies in that house, especially up on that third floor. It's an incredible location.
There's lots of pigeons.
Lots of pigeons. So I stuffed my giant body halfway up into the attic crawl space to see what was going on. And right across the way in the eave, there was pigeons flapping around. And you're not going to lie, it scared the hell out of me. I'm not afraid to admit that I get scared at the ghost hunt, all right? Because I'm trying to get scared. That's what life's about, right? But
right.
That house has some energy, and I'd love to chop it up out there and do some sort of investigating and just see what we can conjure up out there, too. That was definitely cool.
Yeah, I really want to go back there. It had a weird feel to it. I can't say that. I love the fact that it used to be a TB clinic, and I love also the fact it was like a holistic healing center. It wasn't just like a normal hospital. So that sanitarium, to me, when I think sanitarium, man, I think about Penhurst. I mean, is that what you think of too when you first hear that?
I usually think of Waverly Hills, but yeah, it's the same difference.
Yeah.
You're sick. Best of luck to you. When you die, we'll get rid of you.
Right. This place wasn't really like that. It kind of it wasn't a typical sanitarium. It was more of a holistic healing center, from what I understand. And people would come there just to try experimental stuff. And one of those things was electric baths. And you got to sit in one of those baths. But what did you think about those electric baths? They're pretty crazy, man.
It's crazy to think back that at one point in time, doctors and scientists and what have you thought it was good to try these things. Like I can't imagine. Like, you know what? Let's try and shock this person while they're in water. It'll fix them. You know, the first person. Let's take this ice pick and jam it up their nose and wiggle it around in their brain. You know, like who does that shit?
Exactly. You'll feel way better once we do this.
Yeah. Or the first person that decided to try milk.
Yeah. Yeah, go squeeze that boob right there, man. But yeah, so we went to the sanitarium, totally cool. We met up with the owner. She gave us a really awesome tour through the place. It was cool to walk through, man. I mean, it was in disarray, you know, like it's in rough shape, but they're trying to raise some money to fix the place. And do you remember the website or some kind of contact info?
I believe she said it was just all through her Facebook. The Wildwood Sanatorium. I want to say Relief Project is what she was saying, but I know that it's listed on their Facebook. So you guys check that out. Help support these businesses and these locations. It helps keep history alive. It gives us paranormal investigative places to do research. Works for everybody.
Yeah, man, we have to come together sometimes as a community, kind of help these places out because they're giving us the places where we get to go and do what we love. So, you know, it's important for us to be able to help them out when we can, for sure. Definitely. So, so we left there and headed up to some crazy ass indoor flea market, dude. Like that flea market was kind of nuts. Like that whole thing was cool. And you picked up some cool stuff too.
Yeah, I was able to find a really good condition Ouija board in a box from the late 60s, around 67 or so, right when they switched over from being made in Baltimore to Salem, Mass, which was nice. And found a prison key. My daughter collects skeleton keys and creepy keys, so I got her that. And then what was taking me so long to get into the green room, I was trying to find a chain to put this on so I could rock it in my broadcast tonight. I couldn't find a chain. So this is your contribution, this crazy cross that's probably got a demon living in it.
Yeah, so we found that cross. We picked that up because, as you saw in the opening there was an exorcism done there, and man, that looks like some kind of cross a priest would have, like doing an exorcism. The thing looks so sketchy. I don't know why a cross would sketch me out, man. It should be the other way around, right?
You think it would be? I'd probably hang it upside down in my living room sometime.
That's so wrong. So wrong. But, yeah, all the blood's going to rush to his head, poor guy. But anyway, yeah, so we grabbed that stuff, and then we head up to the Hinsdale House after meeting up with Shannon. What's her last name, man?
Whitaker.
Shannon Whitaker and Crystal Lee, and then Shannon Whitaker's husband. I can't think of his name. Do you remember?
I don't think we ever got his name. I don't think he ever offered it up, and I don't know if he's on Facebook either. But good dude.
Yeah, absolutely. They're with a group called Silent Paranormal, and they came out, and that was really cool. So we met them, and then went to the Hinsdale House, and basically got there and met up with the house manager, and I thought she was really cool too, man. She had some cool stories about the place.
Yeah, I think I just got a notification she just commented on this. So hi, Billy. Thank you for having us.
Nice. Hey, what's up, Billy? Yeah, I'm gonna get the Facebook out here in just a minute so I can see people's comments. I thought I could see them on here, but they don't come up for some reason.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure this thing out too, but you know, we're just looking good, making it work.
Yeah, doing what I can. Like I'm monitoring the YouTube comments. If you want to try to monitor the Facebook ones, I don't know if that.
All right, yeah, I'll do that. If I'm looking down, it's because I'm checking on you guys.
Yeah. I just don't understand why it's not working right. But anyway, we go over to the Hinsdale House, met up with the psychic lady there, which was super cool. She was a really kind woman, and her name is Billy Linmuth. I hate when I slaughter names, but yeah, and Billy, you can definitely find her on Facebook for sure. So anyway, she leaves, and at that point, basically what seemed to happen is they just left us to our own. You know, like she rolled out, gave us the keys to the place, and said, "Here you go." And
and Billy did not want to go in that house before we got there either. Not to put you on blast like that, but you don't like being in that house alone.
Yeah. She said she's been going there since like the 2000s. She sent me a picture of the place, and it was basically a totally different color. It was like all broke down. It looked really rough. So they have definitely put a lot of work into it since, you know, picking it up whenever they did.
Oh yeah, we had a lot of people watching and commenting. So hello everybody, thank you for watching and commenting.
Yeah, definitely appreciate it. Aaron's on here, Mindy. There's a bunch of people on YouTube, man. So it's cool.
Beautiful thing. Beautiful thing.
It is indeed. It is indeed. So yeah, we get there, man, and like start setting up and getting things ready. I started up my Facebook Live through Patreon, and I give all my Patreon folks an exclusive live feed for 4 hours or something. And yeah, we did some cool ghost hunting. What'd you think about all that? Like, what's your take on the whole night and like the process, the whole thing?
I mean, I thought it went really smooth. And in most aspects of my life, I'm an over planner, and I have to plan out everything down to the time that I eat and everything else. But going out there, I was like, you know what? I want to continue to have fun doing all this and not stress. And I couldn't have had any more fun. I used like a third of the crap that I brought with me, whatever. I found like my cell phone was all I really needed and a couple of my gadgets, and just went with it. And it was great.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, we went with 3 people we live with. They're all deaf. So Bill and I were the only ones that could hear everything. So that was an interesting aspect too. And that really, I feel like that added a lot to it. I don't know how you felt, though, but I thought that was pretty interesting.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I always feel like when someone, no matter what sense it is, whenever you lose that sense, all your other senses are heightened, to make up the difference. And I think that's how they are too. And I'm sure of it. And I like to have that there because I feel like that's almost like a superpower. It's like they're picking up on things that you and I don't pick up on.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and Crystal and I, when we were upstairs, I would hear something and she would tap me because she had felt it, like she could feel the vibrations, and it happened 3 or 4 times throughout the night. And it kind of blew my mind. It was like, she bullshit. Can she really hear? Is this a ruse? Like,
right.
It was incredible to do, and I was so thankful that she invited me along, and we got to go along with that. And just that's the kind of power unity I'm looking for. Collaborating with everybody and doing the fun stuff.
Yeah, 100%, man. So just jumping right into the investigation, first thing we did was basically went upstairs and, at least this is what I did. I went upstairs and used a device that you have that picks up some static electricity, and we started getting some interaction up there, and it kind of like kept getting more and more through the night. I got a couple good EVPs. What do you think about that EVP?
That EVP, man, was one of the best ones I've ever heard, and I'm guilty of not really trying to do EVPs too much. I'm usually too jacked up or running around with people, but being present for that as it was recorded and hearing it like that was awesome because it was clear as day.
Yeah, I'll put that up as a separate audio link on my YouTube page or something later, but it was pretty cool. We got that EVP, and then we just kind of kept investigating through the night, and like I said, I ended up like going down and passing out, but you and Crystal went upstairs and started checking some stuff out. And so what happened after that?
So when Crystal and I were upstairs, I had been waiting to sit alone in that long closet with the mirror at the end and the chair, because I just wanted to sit in there and freak myself out a little bit. And so she had been up there with Shannon for a while. I was waiting, and then Shannon left. I just sat with her for a little bit. We sat in that closet. And then she was like, "Oh, you tired? You want to go to bed?" I was like, "No, I don't want to go to bed. I'm fine." I was on like my 5th wind at that point. So then we were just kind of sitting in the dark on the floor in the main room, looking into Laura's and I think it's Mary's, that room that we went in when we first got there with the vibes. I think that was Mary's room.
Yeah.
We were just sitting in the dark looking, and we kept seeing like shadow movement in Laura's room, which was the one right at the top of the stairs. So I went downstairs to get that little static dome and place it in the doorway, and Crystal took out her paranormal music box, and I actually looked it up today because I wanted to know more about it. Those things are expensive too, so if you guys want to send me and Bill one of those, we'll test it out. We use it all the time. We'll promote the hell out of you.
Oh yeah.
So the paranormal music box is shaped like a coffin, which adds to that, the effect, and it's motion detected. It picks up on motion, and it's got a little sensor on it. And I was reading today, it picks up motion from up to 16 feet away. And when it happens is when it picks up motion, it starts playing music. Now, the music they decided to put in is like creepy horror music. And Crystal's deaf, so she can't hear it. So we're sitting there still as can be in the dark, right, probably about 12 or 14 feet away from this thing. The motion sensor on it is angled towards the wall, which is what they recommend. It doesn't pick up any false negatives. We're watching the static dome in the other room, and then this thing starts going on. And it's like just a few minutes after 3 a.m., of course. And I'm just like, and I'd never heard this thing before. I didn't see her set it up. I'm like, what the hell is that? And I'm sitting there and watching it. She's watching it, and it just keeps going. So I started recording with my phone regularly. After about 30 seconds, I said, well, whatever, I'll just go Facebook Live. I wound up going Facebook Live. I want to say it was almost 45 minutes. And that thing kept going off and going off. And I had people popping in on the live telling me, reading the energy in the room. Some of them were saying that there's a dark presence of a male in there, that he didn't like me. Crystal was safe, though. Everyone assured me that Crystal was safe. But you should leave. It's like, I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything wrong, guys. But,
yeah.
I was told that I had to get out of that little room, because I was going to get scratched and attacked, and that I needed to sage and this and that. And I was like, I'm now thinking, I got to sleep in this friggin' room, dude. Like, I'm tired. Like, but now I'm not tired whatsoever, because I didn't want to be in there. So at one point, when we were downstairs, I got my sage, and I was like, I'm going to smudge this bastard. But I didn't. I went back upstairs, and I kind of started saying, like, we don't mean you any harm. I'm just here to record history, preserve history, give you a voice. I'm not trying to step on your toes, that kind of stuff. And the energy did kind of change a little bit. So we went in that room, turned the thing off, turned it back on again, walked away, sat. It did it a little bit longer. And then it got time, it quieted down, so we were like, all right, we should try to get some sleep. So Crystal, being the jokester that she is, decided to take this stupid thing and put it in that closet in that room that I'm sleeping in. Now, one, she's not going to hear it, and two, she's not going to see it because it's at an angle. So I have to now contend with this monstrosity if it goes off in the middle of my tiny bit of sleep. I'll tell you, I wrapped myself up so snug in that sleeping bag. I had my phone in my hand, my flashlight, and I'm like, dude, I don't know if I'm going to sleep here. And she's making noises, and she's texting me. She's like, did you hear that? I'm like, what was it? She said something was pressing on her underneath the bed. Under the bed was pushing on her. And a couple interactions, and I'm just laying there. The house is still as can be, and I hear shuffling down in the kitchen. And the kitchen's right at the base of the stairs, right there. I hear shuffling and some movement. I'm trying to hear if it's one of you guys. And then I hear a woman's voice say 3 or 4 words, and then there's a male response with 2 or 3 words after. I couldn't make it out, but it was like, da-da-da, da-da-da. And I'm just like, this is great. Like, what is happening here? Yeah, I should have gone up and investigated, but I didn't so soon. And none of you guys would have either. All right, so right. I just laid there, and I'm like, I gotta go to sleep, because I knew, we had a long ride home. I mean, I thought I might get to at least sleep till like 9, but 7:15 rolls around. It's time to get up and get out of there. So,
right.
It was an interesting night in that room, I will say.
Yeah. So I want to go back and talk about a couple of things that you said. So first off, you talk about how you communicate with things on the other side. Is there like a technique that you use to ask these questions and try to get interaction, or is this just like, I don't know, what goes through your mind when you're doing this, man?
So what I do and what I learned early on for myself, what happened to work, I'll give you a little tiny backstory. So when we added an addition onto my house when we found out we were going to have a child. And as the addition was being built, one of the guys working on the house passed away. He didn't die on the property, but he passed away. So fast forward a couple months, the house was done. And I remember the day, we heard boots coming up the back deck. And I looked out the window, I said, it's probably my brother. And there was nobody there. This is kind of strange. And then activity, we'd hear it, we'd hear steps coming up the inside stairs. I got to open the door and look down the dark hall, there's nothing there. We heard it on the roof. My mother heard it on her portion of the roof as if it was in the attic. So what I started doing was every day when I'd go to leave the house, I'd just stop down at the foyer and I'd say, John, the house is complete, you don't have to stay. I did that for about 2 weeks and we never heard it again. Wow. So I was kind of like, all right, maybe this actually does work. And I do similar stuff with like all this wacky enchanted crap behind me. I speak to it as if the people are actually here. And I don't know if I'm assuming they must appreciate the recognition and they're being treated with respect and fairly as if they were human. So they might not know they're human. They're not human any longer. I just kind of approach it as, give them respect and the space they deserve and talk to them like they're here.
Yeah. So you try to take the approach of like you're just hanging out with somebody at the bar, right?
That's pretty much it.
Have you tried other things? Have you tried to like kind of break out of that pattern?
That's always my go-to because it's simple and requires no equipment, obviously. I do a lot, especially here in my house, I do a lot of sage and Palo Santo burning and incense because I try to keep the energy at bay. And, I know I sound like, earthbound, crusty dude, saying, but it does work. Right?
Friggin' hippie.
Friggin' stoner hippie.
Yeah, exactly.
But it works for me, and And like I think I was showing you when we were at the house those Kanzari cards.
Oh, those are cool, man.
I have used those to not banish, but break an attachment that I had before, because I'm an attachment magnet as well, which is not fun. But I feel pretty good after this. I don't think I brought anything home with me this time, which is a plus. I didn't have a para-hangover or anything.
Yeah. So why do you think that is? Why do you think that you're an attachment magnet?
Well, as I'm learning now, I've learned over the past few months. I've had a lot of energy work, shadow work done on me, and I'm learning that I am actually an empath. I used to laugh at that. I'm like, come on, I'm just a dude, just running around. But I feel that from within now. So
you're sensitive.
Yes, I'm very sensitive. You bastard.
Yeah.
But what I used to do, and this is from watching the stupid shows over the years. I'd walk in the room. You can use my energy. Use me and you're opening yourself up.
Yeah.
I didn't think about it back then, but that's when I used to get the majority of them. So now, when I remember, if I leave a place, before I leave, I'll go outside. I'll say, you're not allowed to come home with me. You have to stay here. I appreciate you being with us. Yada yada, and generally works.
Yeah, well, generally works.
Yeah, you got no promises. It doesn't always work.
Yeah, for sure. So, what do you think these things are that we're communicating with? So like you're telling me that they seem to work best, or you get the best interaction when you just talk to them like we're talking, and then also you're using kind of like metaphysical stuff to kind of interact too. So, what do you think these things are, or do you think they're like multidimensional? Like, what is a spirit?
I really believe that the spirit is just the residual energy of the person. The energy doesn't get destroyed; it just moves on. And if it's stuck with something or some place that it had this great attachment to them, then I fully believe that there's a reason it would stay there.
But then why are they intelligent? So why are they intelligent? So like if it's just kind of residual, why is it we can like intelligently communicate?
See, I don't. That's a good question. So I don't know if I've ever been able to communicate with a residual. So I actually have a residual one here at this place that when I moved in, I'd see it walk through the kitchen between 10 and 10:30 at night. And the first time I was like, what the hell is that? I didn't want to know. And then I paid attention, it would still happen. So I just ignore that part now. I have not tried to be like, hey, stop coming in my house. You got to go.
Yeah.
I feel like ones that are intelligent have the ability to interact with you more versus just being on a tape loop going over and over again doing the same thing and just like you're blind to everything.
Yeah, I mean, like that's the thing I've been like struggling with since I've been doing this is like if these spirits are residual, which I'm kind of leaning towards, why is it they can intelligently interact? Or like that's something that I can't seem to figure out. Like, how are these things intelligent? How are we getting correct answers when we ask questions? And that for me is why I'm still like here doing this, I guess, because that means that we're communicating with something. And,
yeah, absolutely.
And for me, like, I don't know. I don't know if it's like interdimensional or what it is. Like, I have no clue. But I have a really honestly hard time believing that's us after we've died. Like,
so what do you think happens to us when we go to the other side?
I'm not sure there's another side. I mean, I just don't know. You know what I mean? I'm not saying there is or isn't. I just don't know. And I'm open to it.
Yeah. No one really knows. That's the beautiful thing about it. You can't be right or wrong. It's all theory.
Yeah, man. I'm just here trying to figure it out, dude. That's pretty much why I'm here. But anyway, I am definitely on board with the thought that Einstein had. I preach this like all the time, man. I'm always telling people this. Einstein really believed that everything that ever did happen or everything that ever will happen right now. Mm-hmm. And so if that's true, if his theories are correct, that means that we are either communicating with things that are here right now that we just can't see, we can't perceive them. They're just like almost on a different frequency. It's just like, tuning in a radio station on your car, you get like one frequency out of like all the frequencies that are in the air. So maybe that's how we perceive things. Maybe we only perceive things on this one frequency, and these things that we're talking to maybe here or here on the frequency map, and that's kind of something that I'm leaning towards, that his theories are right. Everything that ever did happen, everything that will happen has happened now. The problem with that I have is, shouldn't we be bumping into each other?
You would think so. Yeah, we're already an overpopulated, continent and everything like now. So if there was spiritual energy everywhere, you'd think that the atmosphere would be so dense you wouldn't be able to walk.
Yeah, can you imagine the other side? If like there was another side where you like just died, dude, and then you just like kept walking around, you'd be like bumping into people constantly. Like, I don't know why people never think about that. Like it would be so overpopulated on the other side, you know?
I believe in reincarnation. That's where I really lead towards.
What if you came back as a goldfish? How would you feel about that?
I'll be back around as something else pretty quick because it ain't gonna last very long.
That's a good way to look at it, dude. I like that.
Like, all right, maybe the next one's gonna be a little better.
Roll the dice. That's great.
Yeah, I feel like I've lived other lives, and I've spoken with some other people. I've spoken with some psychics who believe I have lived past lives. I have this intense fascination with military history, and in high school I didn't give a crap about any history. I've never was in the military, but now I can't get enough of it, and I feel like there's something there with a past life. So, it's interesting to me to think about that and read into it more.
Yeah, you talk about past lives, and I was never really one to consider that being a possibility until fairly recently. And I went to a couple psychics, and they said that I had met this person I was hanging out with in a past life. And it was weird because like I felt a weird connection more than just a normal connection.
Yep.
And you wonder about those things, and I can see where you would be, curious about that.
It's a pretty cool possibility. It's better than having nothing on the other side.
Yeah, exactly. Like Erin just said, she's said, I like to believe there's a heaven. So like you just said, it's kind of almost comforting to think that there is something on the other side. You know what I mean?
You got to wonder if there's a heaven, is there a hell? The yin and the yang. You'd assume they'd have to be, right?
Yeah, and that's what keeps people from messing up. Is the fear of hell, and fear of damnation. So, yeah, got to have that around. People be running amok in the streets.
Isn't that what they're doing now, anyways?
Yeah. Man, I've heard a bunch of theories actually from Native Americans that this is hell. Like what we're living in right now is hell, and when we pass on, things are going to get better and better, which is an interesting concept. Like we're just going to keep doing better. I'm hoping that's true because
I would like to think so too. I mean, it's pretty depraved out there right now.
It is. It's craziness out there. I wonder if I love the movie Ghostbusters. That was like one of my favorite movies ever, and it was like the bad thoughts that created things. Like it was like
Stay Puft was a manifestation of his brain. Yeah.
Yeah. So I wonder if like as a world, as a unity of the entire world, I wonder if we're like creating enough crappy energy to cause something to happen somewhere. And I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I mean, I'll give you a great personal insight into that. The past few months, as I've come to find myself more so, I've just been like this beaming light of positivity. I don't know where the hell it came from because that didn't used to be me. But I've been putting up positive vibes, and I got all this great stuff coming to me now, and getting to do cool things, meet new people, and I'm having the time of my life. And I truly believe that you're going to attract what you put out. If you're a negative Nancy, always down in the dumps, woe is me bullshit, that's all you're going to attract. But if you just go out there every day and say, I'm going to make the best of today, and you put your effort in, you're going to attract that.
Oh, I believe that 100%, man. Did you ever see that movie, The Secret?
No, I didn't.
Dude, you gotta watch it, man. It's all about like just exactly what you just said, like putting out good thoughts and good vibes into the world. Like you get it back. Like if you just stay positive and stay on a path, man, you're gonna get there. And they talk about manifesting things. So like if you kind of see yourself in a certain place in the future, you just kind of think about that, and then you really focus on it, and then it'll eventually happen. And dude, that's true. Like anyone who like has a goal and you work hard at that goal, you're going to achieve it. You know what I mean? Just like what you're doing right now. You're like on the path to really promoting what you do and trying to make this something that's branded and hopefully goes somewhere for you. And you're working your butt off at it, and you've manifested that through thought. So it's going to happen,
I 100% believe in it, and you got to have something to believe in too. I'll never understand those people that get up every day and just don't strive for a better day. I get up I say, I'm going to make today better than yesterday. How am I going to do that? And I do that. I want to be a better version of myself for the people in my life and also for myself. And success, that's it.
Yeah.
As Eminem said, it's my only option. Failure's not.
Yeah. Lose yourself, bro.
I can't lose myself.
Yeah, you got one shot, one chance. Yeah, I love that. I love that song, man. It's pretty awesome. It really is true, though, man. When you have that opportunity, you have to seize it, and just grab the ball and run, dude. You know what I mean? And I think
you
that's
might not get another opportunity. That's what it is.
Yeah, man. Like a few years ago when I was on that TV show Monsters Underground, that was it for me. That was the moment where I grabbed the ball, dude, and I just put my head down and ran through the O line and kept going. And I'm still going now. There's been some there's been 4th and 1s a couple of times I decided to go for it on, but I'm still rolling with the ball, and that's what you got to do, man. You just got to have that goal and keep pushing forward. So what's your next goal? Like what do you want to achieve here in the paranormal world?
I mean, my goal. I'll be completely transparent. I've always wanted to be on TV because I like hamming it up for the camera, and I like just being that person for everybody and entertaining. I do, believe it or not, have some moral compass. Like I won't go on TV to fake evidence or any of that stuff. But my overall goal is I just want people to enjoy ghost hunting and everything that comes with it instead of taking it so damn seriously. And that's my whole brand of ghost hunting. Just let's go have fun. Have a beer beforehand if you want to loosen up, just exactly, you gotta live your life. This is a hobby for me, like it is for almost everybody. There's not anybody, well, there's a few select people that actually make a career out of it, but the rest of them, even the ones that pretend to, they're not making a career out of it. So if it's a hobby for me, I'm going to enjoy it. If I'm paying to, go to these places, damn right I'm going to enjoy it in my own fashion,
Yeah. Once it steps over and starts becoming a job, that's when it sucks, dude.
Yeah.
And
it's stressful at that point.
I absolutely love filmmaking and love telling stories. So when I get sick of that, I probably won't do this anymore, because right now telling the story of these locations to me is equally as important as the investigation itself, because I think without really knowing the history behind these places, people at home and people watching on Facebook Live or YouTube Live, they don't really understand even how it feels, man. So like the Hinsdale House, for example, like if you just walked in that house without knowing the history, without knowing that there was this long issue with a possible possession and whatnot, you wouldn't even feel anything. You'd just be like, this is a little tiny cottage out in the middle of nowhere. Pretty cool. It's got a nice pond, whatever. But knowing the history, it makes you like, wow, this is cool. So for me, it's about telling the history and being able to get that through to the viewers so they can kind of feel the same thing that we're feeling there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and an offshoot of that for me is I love preserving that history. That's hugely important to me, and especially, we're New England guys, so we have the oldest history in the country, and being able to walk into some of these time capsules is incredible. And if that place needs a new roof, I'll gladly do an event over this, see if it's haunted. I don't care if it's haunted. I just want to be a part of history like that. And it's better than a textbook. You take your kids on a field trip to this house that was built 300 years ago. It's going to be a lot more interesting for them than reading a story about Tom and Mary Smith on the farm.
Yeah, definitely. As far as history goes and stuff, what's your favorite place you've been that has history and like real action going on?
I know we touched on this the other day, but it's definitely got to be Waverly Hills for me. Just the dark history and the what ifs. I mean, it's rumored to have. I remember this documentary years ago. It was rumored that there was 64,000 deaths, which is extremely high. I think it's more probably around the 8,000 or 9,000 mark, which is still an insane amount of people to pass away in one location. But everything about that place, the energy in the walls there, it just speaks to you when you walk through there. And it is so large, and at night in that dark, that place just goes forever.
Yeah. So what did you have happen to you there?
So I had a few different things happen to me. So the building itself is shaped, I don't know if it's officially called this, but like a bat wing. So it's 2 wings and then a long hallway. So when you're in there at night in the dark, you think, oh, I'm at the end of the hall. And as you come around, it's like, shit, there's another hall. And you go, it's like, damn, another hall. I don't want to be in here anymore,
Right.
Now, this was my first full-bore, real-deal investigation. I had, the simplest of equipment. Didn't matter. I had a camera. So one of the floors, they have all the lights out except for the red exit lights at the stairwells, so you know where you're going. And they keep that floor pitch black because there's shadow figures that are reported crawling on the ceiling and what have you. So it was me and 4 other people that went. We had the whole place to ourselves. And we were walking. I was walking backwards, just snapping pictures with my ancient camera. And in one of the pictures, it's the illuminated exit sign. There's the doorway that goes into the staircase. The stairwells there are terrifying just to look down also. Like just straight up out of a horror movie. There is a shadow figure. It's like half of a silhouette of a person, as if they're looking out the door down at us. It's a little grainy. I've never edited or fixed it up because I don't believe in doing it. It's like you either believe what I see or don't. I don't care. I'm not trying to impress you. So I have that picture. On one of the other floors, there's children's spirits reported there because there was a lot of kids that had to go to this place, unfortunately, too.
Yeah.
So they have balls all over the place, play balls. And one was in the hallway, and my buddy kicked it, booted it down the hall. And as it went straight down the hall, it did a hard 90-degree left turn into a room. And we all just kind of, what the hell? So we go running down there, jogging, what have you. We go down there, we go into this room, and we can't find it. It's in the back corner of the room, up behind this little pile of rubble from a collapsed wall that would never have gotten there on its own. And
Wow.
that was kind of like, damn, all right, this place is no joke. And then up on the 5th floor, it's they have open-ended on either end. They used to have a playground out there for the kids, and it's a small little hospital wing up there, and that is where a nurse hung herself back in the day. And there's talk she could have hung herself or been hanged so that it looked like she did that because she was pregnant, and they found the fetus in the sewer system there.
What?
Yeah, and I forget if it's fact or speculation, but they believe that she either had a miscarriage or an abortion. But the fetus was found in the sewer system, and there was chatter that it could have been one of the doctors that impregnated her. When you worked there during the tuberculosis outbreak, you lived on campus. You never left. Your family came to live with you in cottages on the ground. So there very well could have been a lot of that shady business going on. And that happens all the time anyways, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So it's right outside the door of room 50 something. I'm not going to say what number it is because I don't remember. And I don't want someone to call me. I'll be like, hey, you're an idiot. You said 504 or whatever.
It's 502.
500. It might have been 502, but outside that room is where they found her hanging. And my brother, when he walked through the threshold and went in that room, he got violently ill and had to go outside and get fresh air. He was dry heaving all the whole 9. And he's not a skeptic, but he's not a believer. He thought it'd be cool to go because he wanted to. So that changed his outlook on a lot of things. And so we had those experiences. And then also when the tuberculosis heightened, there was so many people dying on a regular basis that they couldn't keep up with storage. The morgue there is very small, and they had a huge room next to it. I forget what its original purpose was, but they had to convert it into a makeshift morgue. And at one point, it was floor to ceiling, wall to wall, with bodies that had to be taken out of there.
Wow.
And they have this long chute that goes down the back hill down to some railroad tracks where they used to get supplies. They'd get supplies delivered by train back then. And there was a little, almost like a minor cart pulley system inside this tunnel that would bring them up inside the hospital, and they'd unload them. So what they wound up doing is they started using that to get all the bodies out of the building so that the patients wouldn't have to see all that. And it's become known as the body chute. So knowing that going in, I said, you know what? I have to go down there. I have to walk down that. I want to go down there by myself. And that was the one thing I told myself I had to do. So my friends, everybody waited at the top. I said, all right, I'm going to walk down. I'll flash the light when I get down there. It's something like 450, 500 feet down. It's impressive. So you get down there, I could feel the energy and what have you. I wasn't into it with myself at that point. I was just the arrogant TV ghost hunter, from watching all that TV shows. I knew what I was doing. But I'll tell you, when I got all the way to the bottom and I looked up and I couldn't see anybody and it was pitch black, I didn't care for that feeling. So I was like flicking my light. I was like, hey, come on down, guys, come on down, come get me. But it was an incredible presence and feeling in that tunnel. And I'm trying to think what else we had at. It was just experience after experience in that building. And they also, during the fall season, they do a haunted attraction. So one wing of the hospital still had all the props up, which added to it when you walk through the dark and come around the corner and there's a guy in a skeleton.
Dude, we're at Pinhurst. Have you been to Pinhurst yet?
I have not been there yet.
Oh man, like they have all these random like zombies from the Halloween stuff set up places, and like I saw one, and I was looking around the corner, and I kind of saw it over in the corner. I was like, "What is that?" You know, and I'm like, "It's the shape of a oh my god,
Yeah.
what?" You know, I'm freaking out, dude. Then yeah, there's a fucking zombie.
Yeah, and you know it's fake, but it doesn't matter because it's dark and the place is scary, and it's like, nah, this is bullshit. Like I'm not dealing with this.
Yeah, exactly. That was hilarious, man. They must do that on purpose. There's a few skeletons floating around in the Conjuring house. Everybody kind of freaks out when they see those too.
Oh yeah, I noticed those yesterday in the walkthrough.
Yeah, those are pretty fun to have around.
Always
But,
adds to the flavor.
Yeah, so back to the Hinsdale House, man. What do you think about that place? Like, what are your feelings?
I mean, that place, it didn't disappoint. And I tried, you know, because it appears everybody and their brother's been there at some point or another. Everybody I know is like, oh, what'd you think? I've been there like 10 times. I'm like, well, you know, it's 17 days away from me. I don't go up that way very often, you know, so I haven't made it. It lived up to everything I'd hoped it would. And a lot of places don't. As you know, a lot of places do not live up to the hype. But,
Right. So, you know, I realize we haven't really spent a ton of time there, but so what do you, or what is it that we're dealing with there? Like, in your thought, I know we kind of talked about this a little bit already, but like, as far as like what is at the Hinsdale House, what do you think it is? Are you still leaning towards residual or like?
Well, I mean, all the talks of like the human-animal hybrids, I didn't encounter anything that I would believe was that. Again, because we only had the one night there, it doesn't mean we can't find something like that next time. Out in the woods, I definitely think that there's some stuff out there, for sure. And the reports of the Pukwudgie being out there, I have had encounters with what I believe to be them, and it's a similar vibe that I was getting, especially when I went out there by myself. I didn't care for the woods, so the woods has got some activity, for sure. I didn't feel any vibes in the basement. I usually do, because basements are just kind of creepy. But nothing down there. But that energy up in Mary's room that was interacting with us late night was something else. And I could tell it wasn't a happy energy. But again, I wasn't screaming demon because it wasn't. Like, it's just not. It was just some asshole guy that passed away, in my opinion. But I don't know. It's really hard to say what it is. I think it's human spirit, for sure.
Yeah, I think it's a.
Thank God I'm safe this time.
Yeah. I think it's a human spirit as well. But I love the thought of animal-human hybrids, man. Like,
oh hell yeah! It makes me think of like The Descent. You know, like creepy things in the cave, man.
Yeah, exactly. I would love to know what they saw. I wish some of these people were still around so we could talk to them. It'd be pretty cool. Because those are really fascinating to me. There's been these reports of dogmen, and I've often thought that maybe these dogmen, which are originated as the Rougarou, and those originated in voodoo magic. I've always wondered if maybe these things are more like James, like no skinwalkers. I wondered if they were.
What's up, James?
Maybe they are down that line. You know what I mean? Maybe they're not like truly human hybrids. Maybe they're more like a skinwalker kind of thing. You know.
Well, I mean, as you and I discussed on that massive ride, like, there's no reason all these things can't exist in you know, some like just under the level dimension that we're in. Why couldn't they?
Oh yeah, they could absolutely 100%. Again, like if everything that ever has happened or everything will happen right now, there's some weird shit going on right here, right now that we just can't see. It's on like a whole different wavelength. And maybe there are these creatures. What if they're aliens, dude? What if like all these things that we're dealing with are actually just aliens?
That's even better. It's even better. You know, we touched on that too, because I know there's reports of lights in the sky and everything, and I know you saw a light. I saw what I believe to be a shooting star while we were up there. I've never seen the stars that bright either. I mean, I know you probably have up in Maine, but you know, around here it's, you know, smog and bullshit, so I don't see anything fun around here. But I was just looking up, and I was like, man, I wish my camera would capture how good this picture is.
Oh, right. But she's like, stop it. But like for real though, you know, I didn't really think about maybe we're dealing like all of this stuff. Like when I say all this stuff, I mean all the paranormal, all the cryptozoology, maybe all of this stuff is maybe just like alien-ish creatures that we only perceive in a certain way, or only can like see at a certain time. Like, I don't know, man. I am so open to anything at this point because I don't have any answers for any of this stuff that's going on. There's been a lot of stuff that I've experienced that I have no answers for. So this is me at this point just grasping for answers, man. Have you ever felt that way? You just like, what is this? You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I mean, all the time. That's what drives me to keep doing this stuff, because we all want answers, and you know, some people just proof answers. It's all the same thing. I just want to be able to say I know without a shadow of a doubt X, Y, and Z are out there.
Yeah.
And then I can just walk away and just keep having fun. But
right.
It keeps going.
Absolutely, no doubt about it. One of those creatures that I think like cross over between like the cryptozoology world and the paranormal world is the Mothman, and I bring him up because the Mothman is kind of thought to be all of this. He's thought to be a demon. He's thought to be a ghost of Chief Cornstalk. Chief Cornstalk was a chief of this tribe that came down and attacked the city of Point Pleasant, West Virginia, and he was actually killed in the attack. And basically, he said that he was going to come back and haunt the place if he was killed. So people believe that this is Chief Cornstalk. So the Mothman is thought to either be a demon, Chief Cornstalk, alien. John Keel, a famous researcher, went out to Point Pleasant and researched the whole thing, and one of many of his theories was that it was alien life. And what was really cool about that is he used to go to this specific place not too far from Point Pleasant, and he would actually watch lights in the sky move around, and he claimed those were spaceships. I experienced one of those lights. You know, like I literally, with a friend of mine, AJ Marsden, basically went out there and we watched this light move through the sky for like 3.5 hours. It's crazy. Totally changed my perception on UFOs and the possibility of alien life. Completely changed everything about how I think. So Mothman, yeah, he basically could be any of these things, and that's why I go back to the possibility that we're seeing all of these things and they're all coming from one place. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
I do, yeah. They're all, you know, from the same origin, so to speak.
Yeah. So Aaron just asked me about the Slender Man. So the Slender Man is an interesting thing. So the Slender Man actually started off as something called the Rake. The Rake was started as a prop for a video game. So there was this video game, I can't think of the name of it, that promoted the Rake. And the Rake was this like tall, skinny creature that, you know, tried to kill you and you just shot it, you know. And so anyway, that started through Creepypasta. There's an internet site called Creepypasta. So that got started there. In that it blew up, dude. Like there's millions and millions and millions of views on this thing, and this whole thing just blew up. And then that turned into the Slender Man, and then that got morphed into with the Skinwalkers. And so like it did this really crazy like metamorphosis from total bullshit to something that people are experiencing. So when you talk about Slender Man, like Slender Man could be an array of different things. Like, I think that, you know, man, I've been lucky, dude. Like, I have honestly been all over the place and, like, talked to hundreds of people, especially at cons, about these Slender Men that people see. And it sounds to me it's more of like a paranormal, ghostly experience. It doesn't seem as though it's like a cryptid. It doesn't seem like it's a physical thing. It almost seems like it's a ghostly type thing.
I agree with that.
You know, I think that Slender Man. So I thought Slender Man started on something awful for him. No, it was definitely. As far as I know, it was started by a video game company, and you can Google this. And this starts off with the Rake. So the Rake started there, and then it just kind of morphed into all these other things. You know, like there's probably all kinds of different paths that it took, but you know, the basic path that I know of is the one I just explained. But yeah, so it's also interesting how people will take something like the Rake and attach what they experience to something like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it grows and manifests into what people need or want it to be. Kind of like how urban legends grow. They steamroll. It starts at one story, and every person adds something to it, and then by the time it gets to you, it's completely different.
Yeah, we used to play that game in school, man. You like tell a secret, and then it goes around the room, and it's completely different by the time it gets back to you.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just how it is, man. So, so she's like, then someone made a YouTube horror series called Marble Hornets, which expanded on the Slender Man. Nice. Yeah, I didn't know that, but yeah, there's been a lot about the Slender Man, but I'm going to lean towards that as more of a supernatural or paranormal experience that looks like The Rake, which was total crap. Like that's what I'm going with.
I kind of lean towards it as a myth. I don't know that I buy into the Slender Man thing. I think it's more of a kid's active imagination and fear type thing that they bring about themselves. I don't think it exists.
Yeah.
But I'll fight it if I see it.
Yeah, pick up a big stick, smash it on the head.
No, just box it. I never boxed a day in my life, but I could take Slender Man. He's skinny.
Yeah, he's skinny. He's not very strong, man. You got it. I'm sure it's good. But so anyone have any questions for us? Because I have the chat all up here on one window now. I don't know how I managed to make that happen. But if anyone has any questions, like, feel free to ask. Matt wishes he was a Slender.
I'm trying. It's Thick Boy Summer. All right, you knock it off. Courtney is my researcher on Warner Paranormal. She's allowed to bust my chops.
Nice. I figured you knew her, man. That's pretty brave to toss that out there. That's funny. So we've had some people ask, like, where are we going next? And I don't know if that's going to be something we do together or separate or whatever we're doing. But I know that Matt and I are working on something that's at this point going to involve Joe Renoni, myself, Matt, and Corey Heinzen from the Conjuring House. We're going to go to an old school. Don't want to talk too much about it because I'm going to kind of keep it under wraps. But there was a school here in Maine that used some really bad techniques to try to help kids. And I don't know where they ever thought this stuff was going to work, but we're going to go and check that out. What do you think about that place, man?
Oh, man, based on just the footage you saw, I can't wait to get in there. I mean, there's just all the techniques that they were using on the kids and the anger, rage, violence, that's going to leave a massive imprint on the whole land and all the buildings. And I can't wait to try some funky experiments in there, dude.
Yeah. I was talking to Joe about it earlier, and maybe this is something you can elaborate on. He said that when he goes and does these Uber X, or what do you call them? Yeah, maybe Aaron, but I can't tell you. It's top secret. She just asked me if it was like a certain school. So, yeah, he said that whenever he does these things, he's never gotten any kind of anything. No EVPs, dude. No proof of any kind. Have you ever had any kind of experience at one of these places like this?
I have. I went to a school that I'm not going to tell anyone where it is because you guys are sleuths.
They are.
I went to this school, and it's a known, bando location around me where people go to. Most people are respectful and do photography and all that stuff and cool photo shoots. So while we were there, we were doing our photo shoot, and off was in this big auditorium, and off to the side there was a little locker room area, and a couple people were doing some photos, and I heard something from the locker room area. So I thought, what's going on over here? And as I walked through the door, I didn't see it, but I heard scurrying and I went right around the corner. Dude, what the hell? Go around the corner, the wall's there. There's nothing there. So I'm like, all right, I see what's going on. So I went and got the Melmeter out, because that was one of the few things I had that I believe in. And I came back, and I was getting some interference with the REM pod, what have you. And I was like, what is going on in here? And as we were in that room, there was noises out in the main auditorium. So we go out there, and there's a noise back in the locker room. It wasn't enough to be like, holy shit, this place is haunted, but I know something was there residually, and it wasn't a raccoon, for instance,
Right.
But I had that, and I've seen some shadow movement, which could have been a trick of the eyes. Most of these places are really dark, so you can't really say anything, but I know for a fact that was something otherworldly.
Yeah. I feel like the school that we're going to has so much dark history attached to it that if there was ever one of these like urban explorer places that you go to that would have something happen, I feel like it would be this place, man.
Based on what happened there, absolutely.
Yeah, and I almost feel like it's not a typical urban exploration place. You know, that to me would be like the school that I went to the other day. So like there's a school in an undisclosed location that I went to check out, and I just walked around it, man. Like it was like it had been vandalized, it was all torn up and whatnot, but like it didn't feel like it was paranormal in any way. It didn't feel like we should break out like a REM pod and toss it over in the corner somewhere. It was just an empty school. But dude, this place that we're going to, everything that I know about it is like nasty, you know. So I think it's going to feel different. It's going to be a lot different than a typical urban exploration place. So I'm hoping for Joe's sake that we get some pretty good stuff, man, because like he's dying to get some really good like proof again. You know, I think we all are. Like,
absolutely. Now when he does urbex, does he go at night?
I don't know, man. I didn't ask him that.
I mean, not that ghosts have a time clock. They're ghosts are around all the time. It's not like, oh, it's dark, I got to go hunt this place. Like, it's just constant. So I was just curious because I mean, obviously at night your senses are heightened as well. I tend not to urbex at night because it looks that much sketchier.
It does.
Like, sure, I'm just ghost hunting. I'm not doing anything else.
Yeah.
And you gotta be cautious doing all that stuff.
Yeah. So people have said that this is interesting to me. You should investigate an old abandoned amusement park. That would be wicked cool. I don't really know of any that you could like get into, but man, that would be awesome.
Well, the one I want to investigate the most is the one over in Chernobyl.
Oh, dude, yes, yeah.
Like that's Chernobyl's like my bucket list.
Oh man, have you seen the documentary on that place where they like go there and walk around the city and stuff, and the place is just a mess, man. Like it's crazy.
I couldn't imagine the energy that must be there, and just I have to go. That's just high up on my list. You know, like these big bucket list places. So somebody's getting, I got to start a Patreon actually for that. I'll just do a straight up GoFundMe. Who wants to pay for my trip, guys?
Right. Just the airplane and just the airplane fee, man. I'd be happy.
Yeah,
just send me there.
Drop me. I'll parachute out of a helicopter. I don't care.
Yeah.
Get me over there.
Just a budget ticket where they just push you out.
Exactly. Take a donkey from the airport to get there. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, no doubt. So what's up next for you? Like, oh yeah, she said the one with the cats. Not to get off on a too crazy of a tangent, man. Did you see that documentary, Don't Fuck with Cats?
I didn't watch it yet, no.
Oh, dude, it's crazy, man.
That's what I've been hearing, and I only haven't watched it, one, because I just haven't sat down with that kind of an attention span, but also because it just pisses me off that somebody was doing that to cats.
Oh, yeah, it was bad. Like, it was crazy. I shouldn't have got off on that tangent, but that thing just totally reminded me of it.
Well, you didn't. Shauna brought it up. I think that's how you pronounce it, Shauna, right? Am I right?
Shiona? Like,
I think it's a fancy way to spell Shauna.
I'll roll with that. Then how do you say your last name?
I'm not touching that one. Donachay? Shauna Donachay for $100. That's what I'm going with. Shauna, did I get it right, dude? Come on, we need.
It's brutal. She's like, it's brutal. She's like, oh my freaking god. That's funny. Yeah, I have no idea how to say her name.
She said no. Shit.
Damn it, Shiona.
Shiona. All right.
That's
back
better.
to the drawing board.
Yeah. We learned something today, right? It works. But so, what's next for you, dude? Like, do you have anything like planned out next?
Yeah, actually, next weekend I'm going. I'm flying down to Tennessee to meet up with some of my awesome Facebook friends that I've not met in person yet. Hopefully, I live up to their expectations. But we're going to Old South Pittsburgh Hospital down in Pittsburgh, Tennessee. Another place I've been trying to get into for quite a while, and now it's open and available. And I think there's going to be like 6 of us. We're going to have that place and see what happens. I'll definitely be going live on every single one of my platforms.
Nice.
See what happens.
And what are those platforms? How can people find you?
So people can find me on Facebook is my bread and butter. I'm trying to get away from that, but Warner Paranormal on Facebook, Warner Paranormal on YouTube. I actually took some time today and took my Facebook Live videos and put them on YouTube. So there's shiny new content that you've probably already seen anyway, but it's there.
Yeah.
And I'm working on making a Warner Paranormal Instagram, but I get too much social media. I just love Facebook. It's easy, and I get to talk with you guys the easiest that way. But I'm out there. I'm a little bit everywhere.
Right on. Cool. So they can just pretty much Google your name, I would think.
I hope so. I'd like to think I've arrived to Google.
Yeah. Matt Warner. So yeah, just Google him, check him out, follow him.
What an asshole he is.
First line. So yeah, definitely Google Matt, follow him on every platform. He's awesome. He's doing the same things that I am, and we're definitely going to team up and keep doing this kind of stuff because I had a blast the other night. It was really cool. I enjoyed the road trip, the whole nine, man. It was great.
Everything was awesome, and all the stuff that we got planned is awesome sounding too. But for you guys, where do you want us to go next? Like, how's that sound? Where should we go next?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think we're stuck paying, man, but it's all good. Things will get to the point where we can afford to take some time off and go do this stuff, you know.
I'm totally fine with pay for play, man. I'm having a good time living life right now, and I want to see as many places as I can.
Yeah. Aaron, I'm going to answer this. I think this is an important question. Will the school you be visiting be live on Patreon? So, like, I was going to do it live, Aaron, but after thinking about it, I don't think it's smart to do that certain location as a live feed. Yeah, I just don't think it's smart to do. But I consider myself to be a decent filmmaker, so I'm going to create something pretty cool for us, and you know, make it as raw as possible. I think at this point, people, especially when the lockdown going on, really enjoy that raw feeling. You know, not a whole bunch of cuts. I'm not going to like remove tons of the video. I'm going to try to use as much as possible. So anyway, make a long story short, it will be on Patreon first. My process right now is to like put things on Patreon for about 3 days as exclusive things for my Patreon members, and then I put it public so other people can get a taste of what's going on, you know, and hopefully they'll be intrigued and want to join on as well. And so, yeah. Anyway, no, it won't be live, but yes, I will have a video about it as soon as possible.
He's not releasing it until he gets 100 new members.
Oh my God, yeah, that would be like the coolest thing. That's my goal on Patreon is 100 members, because then I can really devote some time and effort to this. It would be pretty darn cool. And if you're interested in joining on my Patreon, you can find me on Patreon, Rogue Paramedia. That's Rogue Paramedia, and yeah, join in, and you'll get like exclusive content, live videos. As far, you know, every investigation I can put up live, I'll do. I'll have lots of these type, you know, videos on there and whatnot, but. Yeah, that's going to be the place for where my content lands. And I encourage you also, Matt, to jump on and create a Patreon page and have people join, man. You know,
I am going to need your tutelage, Miyagi, because I am not good at editing.
yeah, we'll figure it out, brother. But until then, we'll go on these things together for sure.
I'm all for it, man. I'm all for anything we can do. We're going to do. It's going to be a good time, and we want to entertain you guys. That's what this is all about. We're having fun entertaining you at the same time.
Absolutely, 100%. All right. Well, thanks for everybody that joined in and listened to Matt and I just chat away. I really appreciate it. And yeah, to everybody out there, have a good night, and I will see you guys again soon.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you out there.
Bye.